there, listeners, and welcome to Fear and Flame Podcast. I'm Brooklyn.
I'm Mason.
I'm Wyatt.
Today we're covering what happens under the big top. So strike a match, light a candle, and settle in. This one is sure to ignite some fear.
Yeah!
Woo!
Boop, boop.
So today I'm going to start us out with my own personal story, except for I'm going to do it in the form of a poem.
Oh, boy.
Hell yeah.
Let's hear it.
Remember English class? Okay, here we go.
I hope you did.
Popcorn and peanuts, cotton candy and Coke, red and white stripes, and lots of spotlights. It started so normal, no one could guess. All the horrifying things the children would witness. Gasps all around, I saw a dad choke. Clowns with wide eyes, none said a joke. The trauma was free, but not the therapy. An entire school with families, free tickets to come and see. Sitting pressed together, tight in the dark, a show commenced, one forever to lurk. Directly in front of where we all sat, a plus-size girlie climbed onto a sat. Flat on her back, her legs in the air, we saw everything while she juggled a chair. Look away, ingrained in our minds, thongs at the circus, and I don't mean the shoe kind.
So that's Fear and Flame, everybody. Thank you for watching. We're on Spotify, YouTube.
It's crazy how, I mean, it's literally in the word repressed memories.
Oh, God.
It's crazy how someone
Starting
can
strong.
say something to you and it comes back so violently.
What do you have to share? What?
Many years ago, in elementary school, they were giving away free tickets for kids and their families to go to the circus. So a few things.
This is
happened
a
while
true
we were there.
story?
This is a true story.
Oh, boy.
And me, Mom, Wyatt, and Maddie all went because we got free tickets. So we all went to the circus together.
This happened to you guys?
Listen, I respect circus workers. That has got to be a tough job. But I will tell you, whenever this girl came directly in front of where we were sitting and climbed up onto this riser and decided to juggle with her feet right in front of us,
Yeah.
we saw a lot of things that we didn't want to see. A lot. And we were very young.
Very.
And I still remember it to this day. And
Probably
I've never
like
been
one
to the
of my
circus
youngest
since.
memories.
Oh, my God. This is real.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I thought that.
She was showing it all.
I mean, the juggling was impressive.
Yeah, she juggled a piano. I don't remember what the piano
Oh,
looked
my
like.
God, man.
I couldn't
great.
tell you what color the keys were, but
Yeah.
but she was juggling. Another thing that happened while we were there was that a guy, so I think he was like an aerialist or like acrobat.
Areola.
He fell.
Aerialist.
Aerialist.
Not areola.
What do you think? I didn't.
Aerialist.
Acrobat. I think
An
he was an
acrobat.
acrobat.
Yeah, he was an acrobat.
He actually fell and broke his body.
Yeah.
So or trapeze. He might have been trapeze.
Might have been. Yeah, I think trapeze would have been.
IMSA came and took his body away.
Yeah.
And then there's just a bunch of grown men walking around in tattered clothes with their faces painted.
Mm-hmm.
So, a time to be alive in the South, to say the least.
I remember that. It's funny how less scarring the guy breaking his arm
At
was
that
than
point, yeah.
than
I
the
mean,
gal
what
juggling
else?
the piano.
You've already seen it all.
Yeah.
It's
It was
kind of.
and it was actually a net malfunction. Like
Yeah, I
they didn't have
think
the
it
net
was.
high enough or the net tight enough. So he when he fell into the net, but he went all the way to the floor.
Yeah, bad. And I do think he only ended up breaking his arm, but there's a lot of other things.
Yeah.
That
And that wasn't
happened
even
in
the worst
circus
thing that
were-
happened that day.
No, it wasn't.
Obviously not.
I'm going to tell
God.
you, that's the only time we ever went to the circus. I've never been back
Never
since.
been again.
Nope. And I'm so sad that you weren't there because for some reason
am
I thought
too.
that maybe your family
No,
had
I
gone
don't.
too, but
I think I'd remember that, man. That
maybe you sat in a different section. than we
maybe
did.
I was just like, man, that guy just broke his arm, and y'all worried about something else. God, I remember getting free tickets for the circus though, and that I've never really remembered what happened at the circus. But that really explains why it was free.
Yeah.
That was a really, yeah, okay.
So if you guys ever want to go to the circus, Just kidding. I don't think that they really do it as much anymore, but
I
if you
hope
guys
not.
haven't gathered, today's topic is Tragedies and Tales of the Circus. So, the circus is something that's been around for a very long time. In the United States, one of the first circuses began in the late 1700s. The man who started it was John Bill Ricketts, and he started what was known as the modern circus in Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm.
It started with mostly equestrian tricks, so like trick riding, and then they had clowns and tightrope walkers.
Mm-hmm.
George Washington actually was even said to attend the circus, so our first president. The circus started out as a form of entertainment for mostly adults, if that tells you anything. To say the least, it was mostly vulgar and targeted towards men. They actually had something similar to a strip tent, if you will. It was called the Coot Show or something along those lines.
Doesn't seem like it's changed
Yeah.
a whole lot.
So the one you went to is very true.
So
to
we
its-
actually
to
went
its
to
roots.
a modern day one,
Yeah.
Yeah.
believe it or not.
No, you went to a classical. I think a real,
Vintage.
you know,
It wasn't
refinement.
until the 1800s that circuses became something meant for family and children. So up until that point, it was a lot of gambling, drinking, strip show type of. It was.
It was
vulgar.
fun.
So no,
Yeah.
it
Back
wasn't.
when it was good.
No, it wasn't targeted towards families. They definitely still represented and had things going on that weren't quite suited for children, though, even after they rebranded.
Mm-hmm.
So they basically rebranded to get more money. It wasn't just like oh, we're becoming better and we want to
Yeah.
be. No,
They took all the
they're
drunk
like-
men's money and
Yeah,
they
they're
were
like, man, if we
We
could
gotta
just get their
branch
families
out."
here,
Yeah.
we can make even more money. So it was a strategy.
It's always money.
It's like the
100%.
casinos. You know, you make an arcade.
Exactly. One for the
There's
kids,
everybody.
one for the
Kid
parents.
Casino.
We're
Chuck E.
already,
Cheese.
yeah.
Exactly.
Shout out Chuck.
When thinking of scary things at the circus, my mind typically goes to clowns just because I feel like that's what's marketed. Very basic, I know.
Yeah.
But boy, is there a multitude of scarier things that there are to be worried about under the red and white striped tent. The circus is full of folklore legends. On one side, it's romanticized to be a place where outsiders and those who are different can be accepted.
Mm-hmm.
Running away to join the circus is like a literal thing. People will go and do it. A magical place where anything is possible. On the other hand, it's something that can be dangerous and cruel. Some disappear, animals are abused, people with disabilities are exploited. It's a place where souls are captured and forced to travel place to place in a never-ending circus. So
Man.
we might go into a little bit of the darker side of the circus today.
I mean,
We
we're
never go
already
into the
there.
lighter side.
We are already there.
I made sure to start us out in the right place.
I can't wait to see where it goes from here.
Yeah.
So we're going to start out with something not light at all. Circus fires.
Okay.
I just have two circus fires that we're going to go into.
All right.
Each are very tragic, though. The first of these is called the Cleveland Fire. So this was in Cleveland, Ohio, if I'm correct, in 1942. The Cleveland Fire was an example of one of the tragedies of the traveling circus. They had flammable tents, poorly maintained electrical systems, and used a lot of dangerous materials. With this particular fire, it led to the death of over 160 people,
Man.
a majority of them being women and children.
Yeah.
Sparks from faulty wiring are believed to have started the fire. The the tent went up into flames in minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Chaos ensued, and a lot of people died from being trampled.
Mm-hmm.
So not just like the fire, it was people were all trying to rush out, and I don't think they had very many exits probably.
No.
Yeah.
And so if they didn't die from being trampled, it was the fire, like smoke inhalation. Injuries were well into the hundreds, so a lot of people were injured, burned, trampled, beat up, things like that. But it was over 160 people, which is terrible, terrible.
Which is crazy because it really is like those. There was one recently where it was like a club just lit up, and I think like 50 people died
Really?
or something. It was like in Europe. It's not even like the actual fire
Yeah,
that gets
it's
you.
the chaos.
It's the fact that everybody's like
Panicking.
I need to get away from this fire.
Yeah.
It's kind of
Yeah. Because people were running over, probably little kids.
kids.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Just,
Yeah.
Oh,
Horrible,
yeah.
horrible, horrible.
man.
The next fire is the Hartford Fire, and this one was in 1944. So this is only 2 years apart in these super big tragic fires.
Mm-hmm.
This one is most well known for a circus accident, like one of the most well known to occur. During a sold out performance by the Ringling Bros and Barnum and Bailey Circus, they were connected. The tent's roof caught fire. The tent had been waterproofed using a mixture of paraffin wax and gasoline.
Oh.
Oh, yes.
So, very high accelerant.
Yeah.
It was in 10 minutes that the whole structure was engulfed, the entire thing. Over 167 people died in this one. More than 700 were injured, and many of them were children. The identity of one child was known as Little Miss 1565, and she remained unknown for decades. So there was a lot of people that they couldn't even identify. It was so bad. A lot of the animals also perished due to being stuck in cages. All the cages were wooden. So the ones that they did release, it was mostly like giraffes and elephants, some of the bigger animals. They ended up just putting all of them down. Just they were shooting and killing them because they were afraid that they would be too dangerous to the public.
Yeah.
So, and they just figured the animals would have trauma, and they didn't want to try to bring them back into a place that was like a trauma. Especially elephants. I think they have a very good
elephants. I can see how that.
And it probably would suck to burn to death too. So they're probably
which those ones I think the animals that didn't burn, they tried to release them real fast out of the cages, but they were still traumatized, and so they put them down, which is horrible. But the fire ended up leading to a lot of widespread reforms and safety regulations. So I think they probably weren't using paraffin wax and gasoline to waterproof the tent after that.
Should have used asbestos.
Yeah,
just
there's
terrible.
no bad track record there.
No. Hell, it's more flame retardant. I mean,
no doubt about it.
Gasoline.
I can't believe never heard of those.
Gasoline.
Those fires. Yeah, that's crazy.
They were like, man, you know what's this?
You know what's bad is rain. We gotta avoid the rain.
Yeah,
Fire.
Get gas and
wax.
And it's so interesting to me too because which I didn't look super into all the things they were doing, but a lot of circuses used fire in their shows.
They're slinging fire around.
Yeah, why would you know you're using accelerants for the tent whenever you're doing a bunch of stunts with fire?
What year was that?
That one was 1944, and the pink one was 1942. So
I think we'd have figured that out a little sooner.
They got rid of asbestos like 10 years after that, dude. It was not that long after.
It's crazy. So the next one is, let's go back to our trains episode here, folks. Some circus train wrecks. So we didn't talk about these because I kind of had an idea that we were going to be doing the circus maybe. So the first circus train wreck was 1918. It was the Hagenbeck, I'm not for sure how they pronounced it, but Wallace Circus train wreck. In the early morning hours, a military train rear-ended the Hagenbeck Wallace Circus train near Hammond, Indiana. The circus train had stopped for a time, but unfortunately it was not properly signaled. The scene was horrific. The train was made of all wooden cars, and on impact it splintered and caught fire almost immediately. So a steam engine ran into a bunch of wooden cars.
Of wood.
Yeah. Many performers were trapped inside and burned alive. Roughly 86 people were killed along with some animals and many more injured. You guys hear the train right now?
Yeah, it's coming after us, man. It knows.
So a lot of the victims, the people that were unidentified, they were buried, even the ones who were identified, were buried in a mass grave. I think they each had their own coffins, but they were all put into a mass grave in Woodland Cemetery in Chicago. It's referred to as the Clown Cemetery. The graves were mostly unmarked, saying unknown male or female, and then other than a few nicknames like Baldy or Smiley, so clown nicknames. Sad. The disaster remains one of the worst railroads in history and led to stricter safety regulations. So basically, the crash was so bad they couldn't identify people, and with a lot of the people who were in the circus, they don't have like close family or friends or anything, so no one knew to claim.
Yeah, it was all.
So imagine you go through your whole life, and one day you're in your circus train, and just a big old freaking freight train goes smack through you, right? And so they bury you, and instead of burying you in like just a regular grave with just like a hey, here's an unknown dude, they just throw you in the pit and put Smiley or Baldy and call it a day.
To be known as Baldy.
Yeah, you're sitting there the rest of your legacy in life.
Kind of like a clown
Named
car.
Baldy.
It was a clown grave. They packed as many in there as they could.
Terrible. That's.
It's still called the Clown Cemetery to this day, and people visit it too.
Really?
Yeah. Our next wreck was the 1903 Wallace Brothers Circus wreck. The Wallace Brothers Circus train wreck occurred in 1903 near Miles, Michigan. The circus train was traveling between Hastings and Niles whenever it derailed. likely due to a combination of mechanical failure, high speed, and poor railroad track conditions. The train was heavily overcrowded with performers, circus workers, and animals. The wreck resulted in deaths of several people. Exact numbers kind of vary and caused many injuries. It also killed or severely injured several animals. Many circus workers helped in the rescue, but the disaster left the circus in disarray. The exact cause of the wreck remains unclear, but it was likely due to a mix of poor communication, mechanical failure, and the train's overloading. So I think that they think that things weren't communicated well on the track, like that this train was here, or just it was kind of a mess, basically, is what it sounds like. And I don't think this circus did well after that happened. I think they kind of went away.
Yeah. Well, whenever like half your talent
Is
gets
gone.
smacked up by a train, it's I feel like it'd kind of be hard to recover from.
Also, the people, imagine the trauma too. Like,
where's
if
OSHA
you've
at?
been through it,
Yeah.
I mean,
no OSHA.
Good night, dude. It seems like that so far, and it's not even like, oh man, like one or two fellas died. Their whole act is getting.
They lost everybody.
Yeah. I mean,
And animals too. Imagine having to bury an elephant.
everything. Oh, they probably just left it there. This is the 1900s.
Yeah, I doubt they took the time to bury it.
No, they're
It's
just
just
like, oh,
crazy.
there goes old Willie the elephant.
So sad. So our next one is bodies in jars and sideshow horrors.
Yeah. Woo.
Sideshows at the circus use preserved biological specimens as a common attraction.
Mm-hmm.
These often included babies and animals with birth defects, floating in formaldehyde, sold or donated from medical institutions, often without consent. So let's say that you had your baby was stillborn and they had some type of like birth defect or disorder or something of a condition, basically. If you didn't bury it or whatever happened,
They just took it and put it in a jar.
They would sell it, put it in a
Wow.
jar for them
Man.
to use at the circus and their sideshow acts. There was conjoined twins, either real or fabricated. So I don't know if the babies were real or if they made them out of like creative taxidermy techniques, like putting together like animal parts and paper mache and things. But
Which at this
a
point,
lot
I
of
think
the
I'd
time-
prefer. I mean,
I'd much rather
Man.
the creative taxidermy.
yeah.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: is if somebody
this
had
is
to
what
have
it
the idea
says.
first, you
Yeah.
know. And they,
It says many of these were acquired from hospitals, unclaimed morgues, or were just hoaxes, which hopefully most of them were hoaxes, but some of them were definitely real babies.
Yeah.
The other ones that aren't so bad is like the fake creatures made from different animal parts. Like they have the fake mermaid that's like
Yeah, I've
part
seen one of
fish,
those.
like stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
the paper mache stuff, not as big of a deal as using actual humans and putting them in jars for people to look at.
1800s was wild, dude.
Mm-hmm.
You just did whatever.
Yeah.
Nobody was checking you back in the day.
No,
You wanted to put a baby in a jar?
put a baby in a jar.
There you
baby.
go.
It's like it makes me feel so sick.
That's
'cause
like,
imagine people are all gawking at it and like that was somebody's baby,
Yeah,
you know, like
man.
that they lost. It's terrible.
and they're just
People
like,
are terrible.
put it in a jar. All right, that'll be $1, sir. You want to look at the baby jar? $1. Here's the baby.
Come on up. Kind of along with sideshows, you know, they would do freak shows and medicine shows, freak shows. So people with unique
My uncle
physical
goes to medical
traits,
shows.
different races, disabilities, all those things were marketed as freaks. So just people who were outside of the norm, like the societal norm. They were displayed for a paying audience, and they were a few that were included, like names. I don't know if you're familiar with any of them, but there was Chang and Ang Bunker. They were the Siamese twins. Joseph Merrick, which was the Elephant Man. Schlitzie, which was a microphilic performer. And then Prince Randian was a limbless man known as the Human Caterpillar. So he didn't
I
have
can
limbs.
imagine what they made him do.
So they called him the Human Caterpillar.
That's pretty cold.
Yeah.
Man.
They marketed off of people's disabilities. Hardcore. They were
One
so
nickel to see the
exploitative.
centipede man.
So exploitive. Like, it's
Yeah.
insane.
No, they do whatever. If it could
And
get.
you know, you watch The Greatest Showman and like, oh, they had a lady with a beard, you know, they had a...
No,
like,
man.
No.
Real Greatest Showman, they had some disabled dude, all right? They had the full, just like,
He didn't have any limbs, and they're having him crawl around on the
No.
floor.
No, they're saying, all right, man, bust a move. Go make something happen.
Bust a move.
I mean, man. God.
On a good show for the paying audience.
I need to,
You want us to spoon feed you porridge tonight?
yeah. I mean, if you want to get fed, I mean, I better get my 50 cents out of you today, boy. Come on now.
Terrible.
Good night.
One also terrible are the medicine shows. So this was a good old circus con here, were the medicine shows, a place where they convinced people that they could heal them with snake oils, magic elixirs, and miracle cures. So they had fake doctors dress up, and they would do magic tricks and little performances to try to convince people that if they bought some of their potions and their notions.
Hey, I've been to a church like that. Anyway.
Basically,
Anyway.
Welcome to the Bible Belt.
Welcome to Fair Play Button.
this is the Bible Belt, people. They could fix whatever ailment that you had. So these shows often preyed on rural and poor communities, with the tonics usually actually containing alcohol, opium, or cocaine, leading to addiction or poisonings.
It sounds like a miracle cure to me.
Yeah.
The cocaine,
Hey,
yeah, you would
I
say.
Or
guess
the
it-
morphine.
I mean,
or the alcohol.
yeah. You can't be sick if you're dead. I
It's
mean,
just so sad to literally be like, oh, your kid is sick, they're struggling. You want some of this snake? Come here, let me
Well-
show you this snake oil I have. It's gonna cost whatever's in your pocket.
I mean, to be
You can
fair,
have
that's
it.
probably what they're
Whatever's
selling.
in your pocket.
They're probably selling that at the pharmacy too at that time. I mean,
That's
true.
true.
Here's your bottle of opium, Jimmy.
You got a
Swallow
little cough.
up.
This'll fix it.
I mean, good night. You sit there, and I've seen the bit where it's like, oh, like a hot Cheeto would kill like a small Victorian child.
I don't
Son,
know.
them boys were drinking like a half a bottle of whiskey and had their little opium and Coke.
Yeah.
It's true.
I mean, they're sitting there, they were probably vented up.
yeah, they probably were.
There's
All
no
day.
FDA back then to keep us from
No,
having fun.
no, there was no such thing as ADHD back then. That's just how people were. Okay?
It was the drugs.
Yeah.
It's one thing, you watch thing about people like conning other people, and it's like low key funny. But it's a different thing whenever it's like,
Oh, hey,
You're-
my kid's dying and
my
I
kid's
need...
dying,
yeah.
and I will do anything.
This is
I
my
will
last-
go to any extent to
Yeah.
try to help my
These
child,
are my last
family
2
member.
dimes. And it's like, well...
It's crazy how little things have changed.
Yeah, isn't it? That's...
Yeah,
Anyway.
That's true. Back to the trains. I just have one more train thing. So I've actually never heard of this, but there was a phrase about it. Oh, it's called...
Pervitin, your once daily vitamin to help boost brain health and activity.
We're not sponsored by
$150 a bottle.
Here's
Tell
a
your
few of
grandparents.
them. Thrown off the train, cut from the route, no longer with the show, walked the lot, pulled their ticket, pitched out, sit down the road. There was like a red lighting one, I thought, but maybe I made that up in my mind. Anyways, thrown from the train is what this is called. This was the Robbins Brothers Circus in 1931. When the Great Depression hit the circus, it hit it hard. The industry was destroyed basically for a period of time.
And I can't believe that it got worse. It sounds
Yeah.
to be honest.
So the Robbins Brothers Circus gained infamy for abandoning workers mid-route. They'd stop the train, tell workers to scout ahead or meet them in the next town, then leave without them, basically firing them without warning or pay, or away home. Some were allegedly thrown off of moving trains if they protested, or even if they just didn't want to have to tell them they were firing them in the middle of the night. They would throw people off the train, killing them.
Oh, wow.
They
Yeah.
were just doing anything back in the day. I mean,
So, let's say, can't pay this worker for the week. We don't really need them anyways. Throw them off the train.
Nice.
This was crazy to me because imagine
imagine
you
you
go
going to work one day
and your boss
Right.
is like,
and your boss doesn't say anything. He doesn't say anything at all. Okay, and you're sitting there and you're working or whatever, and they just throw you out the vehicle. Let's say you're driving to work. You're driving to a job site or something, and your boss man's just like, You know,
I've
like
never watched
crazy.
Yellowstone, but I've seen the clips of when they take you to the train station or whatever.
yeah, they
That's
just
what
kill
I
you.
picture in my mind.
Yeah,
Just throw you off the edge.
but at least they've got a reason. I mean, this is a circus.
Yeah.
What do we gotta hide?
You're at work.
I
and
mean, good night.
you're underneath the transmission
Yeah.
or something, and the boss just drops a
It's like-
I don't want to have to pay his
Kyle
check.
payroll's getting a little bit
Getting a
tight.
little- Don't know if I'm gonna make it for everybody this week. Whew.
We're gonna have to kill Bob.
it's just
no
how it's gotta be. You
Well,
know, we did all we could.
Literally, it's probably the ringleader. Like, the ringleader's
Yeah.
like, oh, Bozo's not
Man.
making the cut this week.
Yeah,
We got
man. Those
Smiley
little-
and Baldy.
Yep, old
Bozo.
Centipede man, he only brought in 1 nickel last week. Starting to eat a lot of porridge, that old boy. Man, anything. They were just whatever flew back in before the 50s, man. Just get away with anything. I mean,
anything to make a dime.
yeah, at night.
So next we have a couple of haunted circuses and ruins. So actually the first one is the ruins of Gandini Circus. This is in Edmond, Oklahoma. I don't know if you've ever heard of that before.
Yeah, I've heard of him.
You have. Well, I mean Gandini, the Gandini
Oh, no,
Circus.
nothing about Gandini,
Okay,
but I
I'm
do
glad
know
you've heard of
Edmond.
Edmond now. I'm glad, yeah. So the legend of the Gandini Circus was a small traveling circus that allegedly fell apart in the 1940s after a series of mysterious accidents and deaths. The Edmond, Oklahoma site where their equipment was abandoned has become a local ghost legend, with stories of it being haunted by the spirits of performers, animals, and workers who met untimely or violent ends. There are accounts of ghost sightings, including figures in old-fashioned circus attire and unexplained noises. However, truth be told, there is a little historical documentation about the Gandini Circus itself. It was actually Howard Susie's Clyde Bros Circus and Hagen Bros, so it was a couple circuses combined, which used the Edmond location as a winter camp. So the site located behind Pruitt Drive includes the ruins of a house, a barn, rusty animal cages, animal trailers, and rail cars, probably a few other little things. But during breaks from traveling, workers and animals stayed there to train. Eventually, the circus was moved to a different location, I want to say in Florida or something, and the owners just left some of the buildings and equipment there, becoming what the ruins are.
There wasn't even nothing out there.
Yeah, I
So-
figured something catastrophic happened.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
No, and I don't know that they were just, people will say like, oh, we can hear elephants and stuff, but actually, I think that it's a few miles, maybe not even that far from maybe the zoo or somewhere near.
so they're just like, yeah, man, you hear all that?
I
That's
heard the
ghost
lion.
elephants out there,
Yeah.
boy. I tell you what.
I think it's the
Yeah.
zoo. It actually is cool. If you look up the ruins and stuff, it does look very creepy. I
Yeah.
think that they're actually, someone might have bought the land and they're wanting to make it into like a shopping center.
Oh man.
And they
Well, that's
talked about
That sucks.
they did talk about using some of the part, like some of the things there for
Yeah.
art and stuff. But we'll see. I don't know.
But at the end of the day, it was just like, oh man, we can't logistics. We just can't move that down there. Guess we'll just
We'll just leave it.
leave it
Yeah,
there.
and
And
they
then
did
some dude
leave
came
some
across.
stuff.
Oh, what is this?
a lot of kids and stuff, I think, would go out there, like, see if it's, now it's all to where, like, no private property, nobody can get on there. But I think people were going and checking it out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because it was creepy, a little
Yeah.
town legend.
That's awesome.
But it's cool that it's
I
in
mean-
Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's probably one of the most interesting things about Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, really.
And it's
You
not
hit
even,
number 4.
It's not even actually
All
haunted.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
So the next one is called the Ringling Mansions. So the Ringlings owned one of the really
The
big
big ones,
circuses.
yeah.
Yeah. The Ringling Family Mansion is in Sarasota, Florida. It's now a museum. Staff and visitors have reported cold spots, strange noises, and flickering lights, especially near rooms once used to store circus memorabilia or house guests. Mabel was John Ringling's wife, passed away suddenly in 1929, and many believe her spirit to still linger in the mansion. Visitors report cold spots, the sensation of being watched, and seeing a figure of a woman in vintage clothing near windows. John Ringling, devastated by Mabel's death and the financial decline in his fortune, is also said to haunt the mansion. Visitors have claimed to see a shadowy figure resembling a tall man and hear whispers or soft voices in areas linked to where he was. People often hear footsteps, doors opening and closing on their own, and muffled voices. These eerie sounds, especially in certain rooms of the mansion, are believed to be manifestations of the Ringling spirits. Giving the mansion's connection to the Ringling Brothers Circus, some speculate that the spirits of the circus performers linger in the mansion. Some visitors claim to feel a circus-like atmosphere or see like shadowy figures in the mansion, but who knows?
It just sounds like they're saying that everybody's out there. I mean, whoever you come up with, they're like, yeah, the wife's dead, and she's there, husband's dead. I think the whole circus is actually there.
Since the memorabilia is there, definitely all the spirits tied to it.
And yeah, this old, I know we're in a museum, but I think I might hear other people talking in here, man. I don't know. That's some doors are closing. I mean, surely not the exit or any of the other doors in this.
Nope.
No,
definitely not.
No. God, I love whenever most of these like haunted houses and stuff like that. It's just like an old house that they like. It's like there's cold spots. They didn't have no insulation. Okay, they made them dudes out of mud. Okay, I don't know. Like,
it was asbestos.
They made them out of it, and they can't have that no more. There's just nothing in there.
Yeah.
I mean, heck.
Yeah, a lot of haunted places that more than likely probably aren't haunted. But another one is actually the Clown Cemetery. So the one we were talking about in Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
One of the most...
Visiting Baldy.
Yeah, old Baldy. Baldy and Smiley.
Bingo.
Bozo and... One of the most common stories associated with the Clown Cemetery is that of ghostly clowns who appear at night. Visitors and paranormal investigators have claimed to see faint figures of clowns wandering among the gravestones, sometimes dressed in outdated circus costumes and sporting painted faces.
Imagine you just hear like a little... in the middle of the night, dead silent. Dude, and you just...
If it was a real person, it would freak me out more than if it was a ghost, and that was an issue before, so. These ghostly clowns are said to walk slowly between the tombstones, performing their acts as if stuck in time, forever reenacting their roles from the circus.
I'd love to go out there.
Free circus. What is that?
See them juggling.
I'd love to go out there as a clown and just start doing stuff and seeing, what happens. I mean,
it'd be terrifying.
Yeah, go like scare some teenagers.
I didn't look into it, but whenever the clowns were an issue, I wonder if some people actually did it at the Chicago cemetery. It wouldn't surprise me like at all.
God, it wouldn't surprise me either.
Just be out there in their costume.
2016 when all that was going. I think it'd been hilarious. It was just like if it was just the most goofiest clown that was just like going up to people and just seeing how far they could go without getting shot, like just being as unintimidating as possible.
Yeah.
Now, I wish I was a clown. Actually, I might look into that because that's a lot of fun.
I have no reason to be afraid of clowns. I have no reason whatsoever, but it's because of the way that they've been portrayed and marketed. I also just have a problem with people and like mascots and stuff.
It's also just a little
see someone's face.
It's a little odd seeing a grown man kind of
that's the most
just messing with some balloons and all that good stuff. It'd be like, oh man,
mascots
that's
and everything. That's I kind of agree. Anytime someone's like dressed up like that and it's not Halloween.
See their face. You can't see their face in general. Like it
that guy's paying child
really
support.
Bad.
Yeah.
He's about to go smoke a pack of Newports
right after
behind
he's
the house
done.
whenever he's done with this.
Is that not something that's so marketed? Like, he's
Oh,
definitely an alcoholic.
Yeah.
After this, he's gonna go smoke some pot.
I love it.
Chuck E. Cheese smells like Daddy's angry juice.
Yeah. I mean, you know what? But it would be fun to be a clown and just make grown adults mildly uncomfortable. Not to the point to where they're going to do anything about it, but to the point to where you can see it in their eyes.
Yeah, you just know.
That they wish that you weren't as close to them as you are currently. Mm-hmm. But they've got to do it for the kids. So.
I wonder, like, actually, what is the job? So the position as clowns, like, is there even any
There's an old
left?
school,
Hardly.
dude.
Well, I know, but like, are they even getting hired anymore? Is that still a thing?
There's got to be.
Because I feel like there has to have been a huge decline, like huge. I had never since the circus. I have never seen a clown at any event or. Not that other than a rodeo clown. I actually have seen a rodeo clown, but I feel like it's different.
Rodeo clowns around.
Yeah, I think it's probably more freelancing at this point. I feel like it's probably just people like, we're going to have a birthday party and have Johnny, he wants a little clown. And so we gotta hire a 40-year-old man to come out here and make some balloon animals.
Kids want clowns anymore, though.
I've never heard it. I've never known anybody that had a clown at their birthday party.
Just the change in society, I think. Which I read this.
I would have been
talking about
as soon as it came out, I would have been pissed if I was a clown. I'd be like, oh my
Dude, this
Just
god.
ruined it. Yeah,
I was
it
like,
killed
oh my goodness.
But in the beginning, since they were so vulgar, like clowns were very vulgar. Before they didn't talk, like they don't talk now, or that was part of their position. Like they were slinging out some nasty jokes. They were dressing like women, very scandalous. Like they were doing some wild stuff. So they were bad at first.
Oh yeah.
Well, then they changed it and marketed it to be like, oh, they're
Just
family
mischievous.
friendly.
Yeah.
Ronald McDonald, this is your kid's friend. And then it has come back around.
You can trust
to
him alone in a playroom with your child.
No. Like,
What
it's
happens
come
in
back
the ball
around.
pit stays in the ball
Yeah,
pit.
no. I wouldn't let Ronald McDonald
No.
10 feet from me. But it's come back around to where they're scary and creepy again and to be... so I just wonder, like, how
They've
that's
made that
affected
flip
their-
again where it's just more like, more adults are going to be like, oh man, that's like sitting there watching clowns and they're being vulgar and, like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To me, it's the same as the mascot. You go to Disney and
Yeah.
who knows how old the man is in the
Oh my god, or the Joker?
Minnie Mouse
I completely forgot about the
costume.
Joker.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Joker.
it's like everything's that we flipped it. We've gone back
Yeah.
to like whereas like okay, they're like weird and twisted and evil and
Yeah.
all that cool stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome actually. If you think about it. That's cool.
So the other one is the Cleveland fire. A lot of people, we talked about that earlier. A lot of people say that the grounds there are haunted. They include reports of phantom laughter, ghostly clowns, shadowy circus performers, and a general unease that still hangs over the area where the fire occurred. Some have reported seeing shadowy figures performing acrobatic tricks or clown-like apparitions wandering through the fairgrounds at night, reenacting their acts for an imaginary audience.
Imagine it's like I would love to be watching one of those like ghost hunter shows and they go to the Cleveland cemetery or whatever and it's like 2 a.m. and they've got all their radios and everything set up and they're hunting ghosts and they turn the camera and you just see some apparition doing like front flips repeatedly. Like that'd be awesome. Okay.
If they ever caught anything,
That'd be sick.
that would be it. That'd be what I want to see.
Yeah, that's the kind of ghost I want. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm fine if you're gonna
Yeah.
haunt me, but you're gonna sit there and do some like splits or something like that. Yeah, man.
What
Tired
about
of these
what about
big-
chair juggling?
Oh yeah, if you
Yeah.
can
You
sit
down for the
there,
chair
you start
juggling?
throwing stuff up in the air and catching. Oh man, yeah, you can haunt me all day, son. Whatever.
Tired of these Victorian children.
do.
Yeah, sitting here
Yeah,
and
not
like,
these
oh
creepy
yeah,
kids.
the nuns
just
and
standing
stuff.
at the end of the
No,
hallway.
no, give me old Baldy. Let him throw some stuff around.
Yeah.
Let him have a good time.
Next one is some performance accidents and deaths. Over a period of the circus, obviously we witnessed an accident. So many accidents, so many deaths. The first of which we're going to go into the Flying Walendas. This was a family. It's perhaps one of the most famous high wire acts in history. The Walendas performed death-defying stunts without safety nets, which might not have been the best idea.
Yeah.
I can't see anything going wrong with that.
Yeah. In 1962, so this was late, pretty getting into some more modern times. During a 7-person pyramid stunt in Detroit, the pyramid collapsed. 2 men died and 1 was paralyzed. Despite this, the family continued performing up until 2017. 5 Walenda relatives fell during a rehearsal in Florida. So in 2017 they fell again, but
These
So-
same
I
people.
don't think
1962.
it's the family.
And then they kept that in the
Man.
family for a long
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And they still couldn't get it right.
Which they probably,
me.
Not
I'm
enough
sure they had
practice.
nets in 2017. That's not going to be allowed to not.
time. Yeah, they'd have to.
But
Yeah, stupid government.
having 2 of your family members die and
And then
somebody
you're like,
be
let's
paralyzed,
try it again.
You know what? Sorry, guys, but
Carrying on the legacy. Hey.
so the next one is Zazzle. This was one of the first human cannonballs. Zazzle made history in 1877, so this was way back when she was launched from a spring-powered cannon. She survived dozens of performances, but eventually suffered a spinal injury after being shot too far and missing the safety net.
Oh,
Oh, man.
She broke
I didn't
her
know
back.
they actually had human cannons.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Well,
there's
somebody
been a
had
lot.
to do it, right? I mean, the idea had to start somewhere.
Yeah, I
She
guess.
was little, so they would put her in there. A spring would shoot
And
her
they just
off,
let her rip.
and if she missed the safety net, then
She just
She's-
missed the
Bad
safety
luck.
net.
so she broke her back in front of an audience, and the circus was trying to downplay it. They're like, "Oh,
She's
all
alright.
good.
She said her,
She's
oh!
She was
Nelson breaks her back all the time.
Yeah.
screaming in agony as
Yeah.
they took her out of the tent.
They're like-
That ended her career.
They're like,
Obviously, that ended her
she's
career.
alright. She's just part of the act. Oh my god!
Hit her with some snake
Yeah,
oils.
she's fine.
Get her
Where-
back in the
Get her
can.
the magic elixir.
Somebody got an aspirin? Get her.
Where's the cocaine and opium?
Yeah.
Somebody give her a nice
That's
shot of
crazy.
heroin.
I
She'll
didn't know
be
they
alright.
actually shot people out
Yep.
of spring-loaded cannons.
Mhm. And a lot of it wasn't in the circus. They have a lot of human cannonball acts with other things, but this was a circus act where she broke her back.
Man, I can't see how you don't get jacked up from that. You know what I mean?
You'd think
Like
how,
that's
with
one
how
of them
much
ones
force
that
it
you
actually
just,
takes
yeah.
to launch someone, you'd think just the launching is enough to hurt.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
sure it did too. Like even if you hit the safety net, like that's still
Yeah,
gonna
you're
mess
still
you
a
up.
like 150-pound object flying at a net. Yeah, that'd be.
Which she was probably really small. I think she was probably super small, but it doesn't matter. Like,
Yeah, you
Yeah,
missed
you
that net,
still-
baby. Whew.
man, I can't imagine breaking your back in front of hundreds of people.
And your boss is just like,
Yeah, she's-
don't worry about
don't
it.
worry about
Nobody listened to
Everybody,
her.
look at that guy. Hey,
Those
look at that guy.
guy.
Look at this human. He's doing breakdancing. Oh my god. and then your career's over too, and you probably just like so you break your back, and that's your life now. You
Yep.
know, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they had disability in 1877.
Nope. You get to be the backless woman.
Which
the
is probably
circus.
what they used as her name in the
Yep,
circus from there on
probably.
out. They really were very creative with their names.
Yeah, I mean seriously, you jack somebody up. Oh well, we'll figure out something for you, buddy.
Yeah, we'll get you another role.
Yep.
Another
Job
Yeah,
security.
you were the chainsaw juggling clown. Now you're the armless man.
You're the caterpillar man now.
God, that's terrible.
So our next one is Maserati, the lion tamer. So he was very brutal with his showmanship. He actually was attacked during a performance and lost an arm.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he kept going.
Heck yeah.
So there was another performance that he had. This one involved 5 lions.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the lions attacked him, and then he went on in front of a entire audience to kill every single one of the lions in front of them.
Awesome.
A lot of saw him as a very cruel and bloodthirsty, terrible person, but some people thought he was a hero. So there was two
Takes a
sides
lot
of
of
the aisle.
courage to kill 5 lions.
Hey, you
in
know
a
what?
cage.
Yeah, you
But
know.
they were also tamed, trained
Yeah,
lions that he murdered in front of everyone.
but I still wouldn't take 5 trained lions. I tell you what, that boy.
No. But the incident stirred a lot of public debates about animal
I'm
rights
sure.
Oh,
and
yeah.
morality.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
using wild creatures for entertainment. Like, you brutally... Like, these were lions that
Like,
he
well,
was around and tamed, and they fed them and stuff. And
Told
you're
you
gonna
guys
just-
what was gonna happen.
He was also missing an arm. So
Let
this
y'all
man
know
killed
this
5
man. Yeah, this
lions.
dude killed 5 lions with 1 arm. I
You
would
remember-
not.
Sad.
Where were we at when that guy was bit by a lion?
Branson, Missouri.
Branson, that's what it was.
It was the tiger. I can't remember the name of the show, but it was the tiger show where his hand got bit.
Yeah.
We've been at a lot of shows where a lot
What
of
do you
wild
got?
things
You
have
guys
happened.
just go and watch anything, ain't you? You know?
Yeah.
It was a magic show, actually.
Yeah,
a
it was a
magic,
magic
show with
show.
tigers.
And he had lions and tigers and stuff in his show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He got
I
bit.
mean, the show was very cool.
Yeah.
But whenever you work with wild animals, you kind
they
of...
do wild
Should-
things.
Yeah.
She used his magic powers. I don't
Yeah.
know what he was doing.
Guess he should have killed all of them. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, shoot, son. That's what that guy did. He did it with 1 arm.
That imagine like that you take your 5-year-old, we're going to see the circus. There's all kinds of cool animals, and then this guy's just slaughtering
Which he's
lions.
a terrible
Think that
dude.
sticks with you,
A
probably.
terrible dude. Terrible. And I hate that
Yeah.
happened for them animals. And I'd never want a animal to get hurt, right? But if if it had happened,
That'd be a heck of a crash out. to
that'd
see in
be
real time.
that'd be wild. I
It
mean,
just I just think of the Coliseum. Like
Yeah.
in my mind, I'm like
Yeah.
picturing the gladiator. Like
yeah.
I don't know if that's what he was going for. That
He's
might
just
have been
like,
his
well-
intention to do that.
I think there was
Yeah.
some shows. I mean, that's kind of like the bullfighting, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there was some shows like that. In
the
the
intention
circus.
is to be cruel.
Yeah.
And we're just gonna like it's
Yeah.
man versus these like random animals, and we're
Man
gonna see
versus
who wins.
beast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except for their tame. That's the thing. There's a difference with the bulls. Like these
Yeah.
are
Yeah.
Now, if you're gonna go take on 5 wild bulls, okay,
Yeah,
then
something
you know
like
what?
that. Yeah.
All right.
And a big stadium, and
Yeah.
I'm sure when he killed the lions, he probably wasn't even in the cage.
No,
Yeah.
he
More
probably
than
it was
likely.
probably just and I'd like to think there was some cool epic battle of a man with one arm taking down 5 like vicious lions. But realistically, it was probably just like if you like were at a vet and you're like, I'm gonna kill those 5 cats.
Yeah.
You know,
Just
which
put 'em
it's just
down.
like pathetic, pitiful.
Hate
You
that.
know,
And that
yeah.
one makes me so mad. Which
No.
the animals always make me
Yeah,
more
'cause what did
mad
they
and
do?
upset. Yeah.
Yeah, they're just following their own nature. They
Yeah.
don't have a.
They didn't.
They don't have morals.
No.
Our next one is Desi Espana. I think that's how you say it, or Espana. She was an aerialist who toured with the Big Apple Circus, among some others, but she actually fell during a 2004 performance. So this was recent.
Not long ago.
No, yeah, fairly recent, and died from her injuries. So she didn't. I think she was able to get to the hospital, but she didn't survive. Moving on from something a little bit different. This is kind of getting into the last of our topics, is kids getting kidnapped by the circus.
Really?
There is 2. So the story of George and Willie Muse. So 2 African-American albino brothers from Virginia. This is basically a tale of exploitation. In 1899, while working in a tobacco field, the brothers were abducted by circus agent James Herman, and his name was like Candy Shelton is what he was called. They were paraded in sideshows across the U.S. using various pseudonyms. They called them like the Sheep-Headed Men, Ambassador from Mars. Like, they were sideshows. They were considered freaks, and they just had a bunch of made-up names for them.
Yeah.
So they were used as exotic curiosities. They said that they were missing links in the eugenics-driven freak show culture of the time. So,
Man, imagine you're like 8 years old and it's the 1800s. You're working your 9 to 5, and Monsieur
some
Candy
man named Candy, just like the
comes
band.
and shows up, and
Just takes you.
Yeah, and then he's like, "Well, guess I'm gonna put you in a cage and let people look at you." Like, man.
So they weren't even just abducting them to abduct them; they were abducting them to make money off.
Yeah,
of them
they were like
full time, and they lied. So they lied to the kids and told them that their mom had died. They were also denied. They were just denied contact with their family, but they were like, "Your mom died."
Yeah,
and that's why we.
Like they just
we
kidnapped
have
2 kids,
you.
and
Yeah.
well, we're gonna go ahead and.
Well,
you guys are gonna get put in a cage now.
Their mom, tirelessly, like she was searching for them. She was searching them down. In 1927, she found them performing with the Ringling Brothers Circus. She sued the circus for their mistreatment and got them a release and a settlement for all of their unpaid wages. Despite their experience, they actually returned to the circus. I guess they were, after that,
Once
they
you're
got
in it.
compensation.
Like, hey man,
Yeah, they knew they would get paid well, and their
better than
conditions
my
were
job at the
improved.
tobacco field.
Yeah, but it's just crazy. There's actually a book about it. It says Beth Macy's book. It's called True Vine. I think is the town they were from. True Vine serves as like a reminder of them like exploiting people for their race.
Yeah.
So since they were African Americans, but they were albino, that's why they stole them.
Yeah.
To make money off of them.
Like these
And
2
it's-
kids are different. Let's go parade them around
Yeah,
for the next.
it's even crazier that their mom found them though. Like she did not give up. She found her.
No, what's
kids.
the craziest to me is she didn't go bust them open. She went and sued them. Like she was like, let's do it the legal way.
Yes, yeah.
Which
Good for
I'm
them.
amazed because I'm like,
Yeah.
man, you like this is the 1920s and you're gonna like, I'm gonna assume she's African American too, and
Yeah.
you're gonna let the government handle this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're
She was a strong
That's-
woman.
yeah,
for
that's-
sure.
Lucky
I mean,
to come out
Just
as well as they did.
yes, like,
Yeah.
I just can't imagine like your kids disappear. Which she had to find out like what happened to them,
Yeah.
like to know they were stolen and stuff. But like to expect your kids to come home for dinner or whatever, and they don't show up, and you don't know what happened to them.
And you get word
they
that,
were
like-
stolen by the circus.
yeah. You get word that they were out there like just being shown off at like the circus next town over. Dude, and I wonder how long. Like I genuinely like. It must
I
have
don't
been
know
like
how
a
old
while,
they were. I should have looked into it, but
right?
Yeah.
Between like whenever they
100%. 1899 till 1927
So
is
28
when she found
years.
them.
man. Them fellas,
Which I don't know
them
how old
fellas
they
was
were when she
guys.
found them,
yeah,
but-
at that point,
Yeah, they were grown men.
No,
Yeah.
yeah.
man.
It's crazy. Well, other than that, I have just one Reddit story that I looked into. I don't have the user's name. I think it was Reddit. It could have been Core or something like that. But it was a true story. A kid, his parents had already sat down, getting ready to watch the circus, and they told him it was okay for him to go use the restroom. So he went to go to the bathroom, and then when he got back, he was like, I don't know where my parents are. Like, I don't know where they sat. So one of the workers came over and was like, hey, do you need help finding your parents? He was like, yeah, I don't know where they sat. I know they were kind of in this area, but I can't find the section that they're in. He was like, follow me. I'm going to take you over here. This will be a shortcut. Trying to lead the kid through the door. And the kid knew something was wrong. So he was like, no, my parents are that way. And the guy was like, no, just come with me through this door. Mm-hmm. And the kid he refused, and he eventually went and found his parents. But I'm sure situations like that happened a lot in places that weren't well supervised, and people get their kids.
Yeah. That happens at gas stations.
Oh, it happens all kinds of places.
That happens wherever.
Just crazy, like at somewhere that's supposed to be like for kids and parents.
Well, I mean, that's where you know how if I was like, I'm gonna go kidnap a kid today, you know what I'd be? Circus. Mm-hmm. I'd be at Chuck E. Cheese. I'd be at,
They say Disneyland. I've heard that there's a lot of kids disappear at Disneyland.
Yeah. Which I know they keep that under wraps. You never really see stuff too much about that. But,
but yeah, I'm just like all that stuff. If your goal is I'm gonna go get a kid, you're gonna go where the kids are.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'm sure all the time stuff like that.
Yeah.
Throughout history.
Yeah, definitely it's stuff like that where there's a lot of things going on, a lot of distractions and
Oh yeah, and you're in a crowd, and you your kid's like, oh man, we lost our kid. Where's he at? And it's like, oh, he gone.
Yeah, got taken. It's just terrifying. Like just to think about, like, people. When I think of the circus, like, people are scared of clowns. Nope, that ain't it. They're scared of a lot of other things that happen.
Yeah,
at
there's
the
circus.
Since that was kind of depressing, I wanted to finish this out with a short story. Just kind of fun. I mean, it is the circus, but it's not real, so it'll be kind of fun to do something that isn't super real. But the story is written by Edwin Crow. It's called When the Circus Came to Town. It says, I always loved this time of year. My parents could never afford to take us to theme parks, so the best roller coaster I ever went on was the Bone Shaker. That was the pride of the traveling circus. My dad was always nervous when I rode it. I didn't understand at the time, but I do now. The whole thing was put up in a day, and a few days later was dismantled and shipped to the next town. I'd swear he was more nervous watching me than I was riding it. In the summer of 1986, the circus came to town, and I remembered crying when my beloved Bone Shaker was missing. That year, there were no rides at all. I was devastated. I was confused with the smile that grew on my dad's face when he confirmed it wasn't there. I thought he was laughing at me. Is it really not here? My friend Stuart said. He was upset at me, but he didn't let my dad see it on his face. Dad knelt down to me and said, why don't we go watch the magic show or the magician instead? I like magic, Stuart said, just happy to be there. Mm-hmm. I sulked. It wasn't my dad's fault, but I'd been looking forward to it for weeks, and it wasn't there. It wouldn't be for a long time. So he was sad. He didn't get to ride the Bone Shaker.
Yeah.
That's such a funny name. That's such an accurate name for like a
the Bone Shaker
for a carnival or circus.
I've always the few circus rides I've been on like that, the pop-up circuses that like you said, they put it up in a day.
It's scarier than a roller coaster.
Way scarier than a normal.
I've never been so sick in my life than on like carnival rides and stuff.
A bunch of minimum wage employees.
Man, and I watch them walk away. Like it'll be going, and they're like, "Man, I need to go use the bathroom." They just go wherever.
Yeah, they'll just
go
take a smoke break. Yeah,
I've seen it's scary.
That's just going, and everybody's just like, oh man,
I love roller coasters, but the carnival rides, never. No. I'm never doing one again.
I've been on a couple that was like, I don't think it's supposed to be making this sound.
This thing might go.
The cart feels a little shaky.
Ever done the zipper?
Did
I tell you about the zipper? I never rode it. Mm-hmm. It's the one that spins, so it's a huge, almost like oval in the cage. But it's also doing 360.
No.
Oh, Lauren may be getting that, dude.
Riley and I did that this past year. Mm-hmm. I I went from like, oh my gosh, for like a couple seconds to I was dead silent, and that's the longest ride I've ever been on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm not playing. You can ask Riley. Left us in there for about 5 minutes. I prayed the entire time.
It was a full
I've
panic.
never been so sick, and you're hitting
You're
there's
in a
little
cage.
thing
You're in a
that
little.
you're
There's
hitting your
foam.
head every time it goes 360, and it just like I thought I was going to. I said, Lord,
This
if
is it.
you
This is
get
it.
me off of this ride, I will never ride another carnival ride again, and
Just
I'm
as
not
it.
gonna.
Off.
This is it.
I will
God,
never.
man, Lauren may be getting that, and they just lock you in with that little like. There's just a bar in the front or whatever.
Yeah,
They're like,
they're
all
like,
right,
here's
good
your
luck.
safety bar,
Good
have
luck.
fun, and
Yeah, I
it
don't
goes
do
forever. It goes forever.
He wouldn't take a smoke break. They sit there, they start it, and they'll
Yeah.
just walk off. I mean, I'm like, man,
There's a
Kids
little-
are crying like,
those zoom
please,
yeah.
Yeah.
please, somebody get
Let me
me
off of here.
Yeah, I mean, it's just some dude. He's just making $7 an hour. He don't care. You know?
No.
You know?
Yeah.
You got the fellow put it up. He only makes 10. I mean, you know? Good night.
That was my worst. That was my worst experience.
No, they're
in
terrible.
my life. Yeah.
They're terrible. I don't know how they haven't been outlawed. I mean,
Yeah, all the injuries and stuff you would
Yeah,
think.
Yeah.
you think. I'm sure there's got to be some sort of inspection process. You would think, but still.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sure.
I've seen some stuff. At,
Yeah,
at
man.
Circuses. I mean, even like actual
Roller coasters.
amusement
Yeah.
parks and stuff like that. I mean, you're looking at some of the welds and stuff there.
It's
And
just like,
some of the stuff, all the rust and stuff. Some of them rides have just been painted
that
over
was a
and
Friday.
painted over. You know, You're
good
like,
night.
I don't know if I really want to be on this thing
See,
going
but at least-
60 miles an hour.
At least that one, it's like, okay, well, you know, you probably have officials that come by every now and then and, you know, look at it, inspect it and stuff like that. Them circuit, they're out before them fellas can get there.
Yeah.
They're already
So
moving
they're
to
already
town.
in
town.
Said, oh, government shows up, they're already moved.
Yeah.
I mean, so I don't know. Yeah, any of that stuff. You rent it for like $700 a day and, you know, it's gone.
Yep.
I don't like any of that stuff.
Neither. We sat in the overly hot big top. The wobbly wooden chair swayed underneath me as I fidgeted, waiting for the show to start. A clown made his way onto the stage. He pulled handkerchiefs out of his sleeve by the dozen. The younger children giggled, though I put my head on the empty seat in front of me and sighed. All I could think about was soaring through the air on that mini roller coaster. A man on stilts wore long red and white striped trousers and paraded around the stage. A black top hat rose from his head. He held a microphone and waited for the clown to stop his terrible act before announcing, "Are there any volunteers?" "Put your hand up, son," my dad offered. I shook my head, still upset we had to see this childish act. Stuart did, though, and he stood as well. The man pointed to him, and he excitedly ran onto the stage, along with at least another 10 kids. The clown corralled the children into a small area on the stage, and from the roof brought down a cage. It gently came to rest around them. "I bet you adults wish it was that easy," he said as he bowed and the parents laughed. "Would you like to be invisible?" he asked one of the kids. They nodded in excitement while a younger girl cried. "There's always one," the top-hatted man said to another round of laughter. The clown brought a hand to his mouth, as if thinking of what to do next. His finger went up in the air, signaling he had an idea. He pressed a button on the side of the cage, and black curtains unfurled, covering the children. The one girl continued her sobbing from within. In the blink of an eye, fireworks went off and the curtain fell to the floor, revealing an empty cage. The little girl could no longer be hurt. The crowd stood and clapped. I was genuinely impressed. I sat up straight. "See, son, this isn't so bad," my dad said as he continued to clap. I was jealous now that I hadn't put my hand up. My misery was short-lived when I saw a pair of lions brought onto the stage. I was in awe. The tricks they did were amazing. I couldn't even get my dog to roll over. By the end, I had forgotten all about the bone shaker and Stuart. When we left the big top, the sun was on its way down. "Did you enjoy that?" my dad asked. "Yes," I said, nodding my head vigorously. "Would you like some candy floss?" "Sure," I replied. It wasn't until we got back to the car in the large grass where the car was parked that I asked, "Where's Stuart?" "Stuart who?" my dad said. Confused, I said, "My best friend, Stuart." "I cannot remember you ever mentioning a Stuart." "He came with us today." As I said those words, even I was not sure, but the memory of him going up on stage was still fresh in my mind. "He was made to disappear by the clown." "I can't remember that," my dad said, getting into the car. "We can't leave without him," I replied, not getting in the car. Son, we have to leave. Mom is waiting for us. But Stuart, I slammed my foot down. Eric, we've had a nice day today. You don't want it to end badly, do you? I thought about what happened. I thought about what he said, and maybe he was right. Maybe I made it up. I tried to remember, but it felt like a dream, and the more I thought about it, the more the memory felt wrong. Reluctantly, I got in the car. Mom greeted us back at the house. Did you enjoy it? She asked. The bone shaker wasn't there, I said with a pout. You enjoyed the lions, though, didn't you? He said. I nodded. You got to see lions? Wow, that must have been fun. Yeah, Stuart didn't come home with us, though. They made him disappear. My mother took a step back. Who's Stuart? She asked my dad. He shrugged his shoulder. Beats me. I left the door open when I went to bed, expecting the phone to ring, as it always did when a friend stayed over, the other parents checking on them before bed. Though it never happened. In class, the seat next to me was empty, and I wondered if everything I thought had happened didn't. As the lesson ended, I waited behind for everyone to leave. Eric, it's lunchtime, you can go, the teacher said, looking up from her desk. Where's Stuart today? I asked. A confused look gathered on her face. We don't have a Stuart in this class. I didn't speak about him after that day. Something lingered, though, but I put it down to my imagination. I haven't thought about that time in my life for 32 years. Wow. Has it been that long? That's part 1. There's a part 2 to this story.
Okay.
So,
my boy's a little schizo. It's all right.
Yeah, that's one way to figure out.
Which, like, I love, like, I don't know. I feel like it's too easy whenever you go down, like, the supernatural route of, oh, they made him disappear stories to where just, like, everybody's in on it. Mm-hmm. And it's like, we're just gaslighting you into thinking that, like, this person never existed or whatever. Mm-hmm. I think that stuff's awesome. So I kind of hope it goes that way. It's also just a big
play on children's imaginations.
Yeah.
I feel like kids have such wild imagination, so they can kind of just, like, put it as that, like, how
your
kids such a wild imagination.
Man, where's like the dude that I've, like, grown up with that's been hanging out, that's been at your house for, like, years. I don't know what he's talking about. That, have some cotton candy.
Yeah.
You'll be all right.
Candy floss? I've never heard anyone call it that before.
Like a European thing, ain't it?
There's something like that.
Oh,
some
I think
other
it
regions.
is because they spell mom with a U and U-M. So
yeah.
it probably is.
Yeah, they call it candy floss.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. The circus came to town this week. My daughter begged me to take her. Something wanted me to tell her no. She said all her friends were going, and she pleaded in that way that only kids can. I relented. It was when we paid the entry fee and walked past the rigged games and food stalls and saw the bone shaker that those memories from years ago flooded back. Say, Jessica, would you like to go on this roller coaster? No, thank you, she said, and I was mildly relieved. That thing must have been over 40 years old now, and it shook and creaked as the small 4-seater train raced along. I'd like to see the magician. Sure, honey, I said, and we queued for entry. $5.50, a man said to me. I took out my wallet and gave him the exact change. Good man, he said, and our gazes met. Eric, he asked. Yes, I said, confused. It's Stuart. You have to help me. I feigned a smile, and anxiety rose in my stomach. Daddy, Sarah and I want to go in. Save me a seat and I'll be in a minute. He pulled me to one side. Don't you remember me? I shook my head. The memories from my childhood swirled around, but I didn't remember him. Hey there, people are waiting, a gruff, muscular man shouted. The man looked back at me, panic fluttering between his eyelids. I'm sorry, I don't know you. Slightly put out, I pushed past to see if my daughter and her friend, and I waved. At least I think Jessica's friend came with us. I'm not sure now. The show was amazing. No lines this time. Sign of the times, I guess. But the magic show was brilliant. I was worried when I got home that I forgot to bring Jessica's friend back with us. But my wife insisted that she went with me alone this afternoon. My daughter didn't mention Sarah. I could swear she did, but I don't think she has a friend by that name. That's the end of the story.
That's a nice little story.
Yeah.
I think
a little short story.
Yeah, which I don't know. I'd like to know. So obviously, supernatural or something, but there's definitely some.
Yeah, there's
something going on. But the fact that it's not just like that they disappeared out of existence, that they're like recruited into the show.
Being a ticket guy, being a ticket guy.
Like he's basically
it's
just
also
like
weird to me that Stuart remembers.
Mm-hmm.
So this guy's been going through his whole life being like, I got
Yeah.
stolen. I got kidnapped.
Well-
and
Yeah, the
people
last
are like,
30 years.
Yeah.
no one even knows that you exist.
Yeah.
So
Which that is weird. But to be fair, I mean, that's probably all like I could think about for like the last 30 years. Man, I used to like have a normal life and wasn't like the circus slave guy.
Yeah.
that-
it makes me doubt myself because I'm like, what if I've been in a situation where I had a friend that I knew about, something happened to them,
And your
my-
memory's just
my
erased?
memory's
Just
gone.
gone.
I've had that thought of just like, what if like I did something crazy or something, or I
Almost like-
saw something I wasn't supposed to, but
And
they
then you
wiped my
just
memory.
Don't know anymore.
Just
Yeah.
the simulation.
'Cause you'd never
type
know.
of-
You'd never know, because you only
Men
know
in
what you
Black.
remember.
Taking it right back to the beginning of the episode with repressed memory.
Heck yeah.
We're gonna
Heck
start
yeah.
with them and we're gonna end with them.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any closing thoughts? That's what I have for us for today on
It
circuses.
sounds like you guys wish that memories could be erased. And
Yeah. There's one memory of the circus that I
Yeah.
wish
Man.
could be erased.
Yeah, it'd be all right if I didn't ever remember it again.
that's a
Do you think you'll ever go to the circus? Have you
I've
ever
been
been?
to the circus. I've been to the circus. I
You
think
have?
I'll go.
Would
I
you
mean,
take your kids there?
I mean, as long as they got a friend as a sacrifice, yeah, that's
Yeah.
it's fine.
If
As
I
long
come
as they
back
don't
with
take, as long
mine,
as they
you
don't take
know.
my kid, we'll be okay.
I don't know. I don't know how I feel about the circus.
It's a little weird.
Especially looking into a lot of this stuff. Like, I know everything has its
Yeah.
Yeah.
bad side, dark side,
Yeah.
cons, but there is a lot of bad that stemmed from the circus. I feel like it's
You think it's
started out-
cursed?
I don't know about the curse. I don't know about the paranormal
It's
aspects.
kind of in bad taste, maybe.
Yeah, it started out in very bad taste, and they've dolled it up. They've made it where it looks like
Yeah.
it's okay for family and kids and stuff.
It's literally
But
every
really,
arcade.
Whenever you start out so like vile and cruel and evil, like
Yeah.
you can take some things away, but when it comes down to it, they're still exploiting people. You're getting paid. I mean, they're enjoying it. Maybe they love their job, and I respect people who do the circus. There's a lot of skilled people, like very talented, that can perform stunts and do all these crazy things, and it's admirable. But I feel like overall the circus was it's always kind of been bad, and I don't know how I feel about it.
I mean, yeah. But a free ticket's a free ticket.
Yeah.
So
If I get a free ticket from the school,
You
I'll
know,
give it to
I'll
Mason.
probably go.
I'll probably show up. I mean,
Will you get you some candy floss
maybe in
while
bad
you're there?
taste. I'll get some candy floss. Hey
Yeah.
man,
Yeah.
we just bring in an extra kid to the magician.
Pick your least
Just in
favorite friend to
case.
go with us to the
Yes,
circus.
just in case. But no, I mean, it's probably as safe as bringing your kid anywhere else, right?
Yeah.
Surely.
I'm
I mean,
sure.
at this point, I mean, there's
They're
creeps
just not
and-
even common
Yeah.
anymore, so I don't know that that'll even be an option to take your kid to, but
Yeah.
you never know.
Yeah. Oh.
All
They
right.
started out kind of rough, and now they're just kind of commonplace.
Yeah.
It's like Volkswagens.
It's like Volkswagen and Beamers.
Good
The
comparison.
the foundation's a little rocky, but
Hey,
hey,
make
they
alright
make a
cars.
nice Jetta now.
They make alright cars.
All right.
It all works out in the end.
As long as you bring the least favorite friend.
As long as you bring your
Make a
least
rhyme
favorite
there.
friend.
Das Auto.
Thank you so much for joining us in today's episode. If you enjoyed this, make sure to like and subscribe. We want to hear from you. Leave your topics and ideas in the comments or find our email in the description below to send us your scary stories. You can find us here next time on the Fear and Flame podcast. We're also going to be on Spotify, so we'll let Mason kind of finish us
Get us
out.
up on Spotify, Instagram. We don't have Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, everywhere you're at. This has been the Fear and Flame podcast. We are out of here. Thank you for watching.
Thank you for watching.
Bye-bye.
Bye.